Welcome to Get My Job channel. In today's video, we'll see top 10 questions for cracking electrical engineer's job interview. Topic for today's video is battery. So friends, prepare for the interview for the job of electrical engineer. Let us know the top questions on battery which are asked during the electrical engineering job interview. To support your interview preparation, I shall be publishing series of the videos on each aspect of electrical. To get such videos first hand, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. So friends, let's see the typical questions on battery. What is primary cell and secondary cell? Battery, which can be discharged only once, is called primary cell. Example, manganese, zinc and alkaline batteries. Secondary cells are the battery which can be charged and discharged for a number of times. For example, lead acid and nickel cadmium. And typically in industry, we use secondary cells for supplying the backup power for instrumentation or critical supplies. How positive and negative terminals of a battery are identified? Positive terminal is identified painted with red color and negative terminal is identified painted with blue color on the top of the battery. Technical terms used while dealing with batteries. Power capacity. It is the energy stored in a battery which is measured in watt hours. Watt hour is equal to V into I into hours. Since voltage is kept constant, so it is measured in Ah or milliampere hours. Power capability. It means the amount of current that the battery can deliver. It is also known as C rating. Theoretically, it is calculated as ampere hour divided by 1 hour. Charging current. It is a maximum current that can be applied to charge the battery. Charging voltage. It is a maximum voltage that can be applied to battery to efficiently charge a battery. Discharging current. It is the current that can be drawn from the battery and is delivered to the load. If the current drawn by the load is greater than the rated discharging current, the battery drains very fast, which causes battery heat up quickly, which also causes the battery to explode. So it is cautious to determine the amount of current drawn by the load as well as the maximum discharging current of a battery can withhold. Shelf life. Shelf life defines the time period a battery can be stay powered up and should be able to use for its rated time period. Cutoff voltage. It is the voltage at which battery can be considered as fully discharged, after which if we still try to discharge from the battery, it gets damaged. Cycle life. The number of such cycles that a battery can charge and discharge defines the cycle life. What is stratification in the battery? During charging of the battery, acid is produced at the plate surface, and during discharging of the battery, acid will be consumed. Due to this non-uniform concentration, heavy parts of the electrolyte settles at the bottom and lighter parts of the electrolyte floats on the top. This phenomena is called stratification. Stratification affects the life of battery. What is end life of the battery? If the battery is not able to hold proper charge, or if the battery capacity falls below 80% of the rated capacity, then it is considered as the end life of the battery. Many factors affect the life of the battery like charging and discharging cycles, temperature, leakage of the gases or electrolyte, corrosion of the plates, over discharge rates. What are different types of battery used in industrial application? In industrial or substation applications, mainly three types of batteries are used: vented or flooded lead acid batteries, sealed maintenance free batteries, or VRLA or wall regulated lead acid batteries and nickel cadmium batteries. How often should the battery impedance testing be carried out? The best frequency for impedance testing depends on the battery type, the site condition and previous maintenance practices. The IEEE 11888 standard for Varla batteries recommends, for example, that a baseline impedance measurement is made 6 months after the battery has been put in service, and that further impedance measurements are made at a quarterly intervals thereafter. For NICD or nickel cadmium and flooded type lead acid batteries, Mega recommends impedance testing at 6 monthly interval. Impedance measurement should also be made immediately before carrying out each capacity test. How to predict when I need to change a battery? Even though the correlation between battery capacity and the impedance is not mathematically perfect, increase in impedance is an excellent indicator of battery health. Megar has found that the flooded lead acid batteries, a 20% increase in impedance generally indicates that the battery capacity has declined to about 80% of its initial value. For VRLA batteries, the corresponding impedance increase is closer to 50%. When these figures are reached, it is usual to consider that the cell replacement is necessary. How important is intercell connectors connection resistance? Experience shows that loose intercell connections that heat up and melt open are responsible for more battery failures than the defective cells. This is a particular problem with lead acid batteries that are frequently cycled, as the negative terminal may cold flow, thereby loosening the connection. Checking intercell connection resistance is therefore vitally important. It is, however, essential to follow correct sequence of test when working on multi-post batteries, and also to ensure that the instrument employs a method of testing that will provide valid result in this application. Measuring the float voltage of cells is usually easy, but how useful are the results produced by this measurement? In reality, float voltage measurements are of limited value. They can be used to confirm that the charger is working, but they give no information at all about the battery state of health. Measuring float voltage of a cell will also show whether or not it is fully charged. But it is important to remember that just because a cell is fully charged, it does not mean that it can deliver full capacity. It is by no means unusual for a battery that is close to the failure to have float voltage that is within acceptable limit. A low float voltage may indicate that there is a short in cell. In lead acid battery, this should be suspected if the float voltage is 2.06 volt or less, assuming that the charger is set for 2.17 volt per cell. In other cases, a cell may float at a considerably higher voltage than average. This may be because the high float voltage cell is compensating for another weaker cell that is floating low. It is also possible for one cell to float high to compensate the several cells that are floating at little low. Because of the total of the cell float voltages must always be equal the charger setting. What is equalizing charge for the battery banks? An equalizing charge is nothing more than a deliberate overcharge to remove sulfate crystals that built up on the plates over time. An equalizing charge also reverses acid stratification, a condition where acid concentration is greater at the bottom of the battery than at the top. Many experts recommend that batteries be equalized periodically. ranging anywhere from once in a month to twice a year. However, Trojan only recommends equalizing when low or wide-ranging specific gravity are detected after fully charging a battery. So friends, I hope this information was useful for you and you will use it for cracking your electrical engineer's job interview. Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel for such more videos. Thank you friends.